Right, good morning. We are currently at Refuel today. Now, I haven't been to Refuel in quite a while. Just a bit busy, really. But Max got in touch regarding photographing a lovely E30 that they have from Virtue that they've dropped off. I believe this is being fully restored and stuff. And yeah, they want some photos and some videos and some kind of stuff for their marketing that they can put on social media and whatnot. Yeah, I'll just show you kind of what I'm planning on doing. They have sent, let's take that in the off. They have sent me a shot list as such that they'd liked. So I'll pop that on screen somewhere. And yeah, we're going to try and stick to that as much as we can. And obviously we'll do our own bits as well, you know. Max has said to me, he sent me that, but he's messaged me saying, mainly focus on photos where you can. So that's what we'll do. We're going to start out doing photos while it's quiet, because I'm here a bit early, so we'll start out doing photos while it's quiet. Main focus is obviously the E30, but then they want some of the cafe and some other bits inside, like Apex and things like that. So yeah, we'll go do that when the cafe is actually open. I don't want to bug the staff when they're not even open. Not going to be that guy on the window. Clean off this and get everything ready to go. But yeah, we'll get stuck straight into it. I will switch you over to the phone mount, to the camera mount, so you can see what I'm doing, and then we'll go from there. And while I'm on that, I will talk you through some of the settings that I'll be using, and I'll talk you through the camera and everything else we're using. Let's get cracking. So let's just make sure CPL is in the right place, which it is. 2.8, 1/500. That's likely may just stick it on auto ISO, I think, because we're in a lot of changing conditions. I'm going to just pop it on auto ISO purely just to make its own adjustments as we go along, just because we are very much kind of in the sun and in the shade than in the sun. So we're going to stick it on auto ISO for that reason. So let's keep looking around. Let's try and get as many shots as possible. Now, kind of just warming up a little bit, just kind of walking around the car, getting some shots and stuff, just some kind of just to inspire me, just so I can have a look around and see what I like, don't like, etc. And then maybe we'll switch over to a more social media kind of orientated shoot. So that'll just be stuff like shooting in portrait, basically. Sorry, I've whipped a quick flip scare on you there. Right, so I know this probably looks a bit dark, but we're just getting this Virtue sticker in there. But this is exposing for the highlights using auto ISO, which basically means that it'll expose to the highlights, and then the shadows may look underexposed, but then we can save those. So shadows can always be pulled back up in RAW, not so much with the highlights. So if the highlights are blown out, you can't really save them. So it's done the same again there, look, but that's okay, because we know that we can save them afterwards. So if you look there on that preview, the sky is lovely and blue, which it is. And then all of this may look a bit dark in the corner, but we can pull that back. I know we can pull that back. That's the joys of underexposing. So we're just going to get some bits of this. There's actually there's a little bit of information about this car actually let's have a look on the side of it. Quite keen to find out about it. So there's a nice little headline on the top there that says, "Classic car saved by Virtue Motors." So let's have a look at that. A piece of BMW history preserved by Virtue X to BMW after it saved a glorious 1988 BMW E30 from the scrap heap after servicing it for more than 30 years. Nice. This is cool. Right, let's keep getting some more shots. So obviously, as you would have seen in the brief that I shared with you, they want a walk around video as well, which obviously I'd rather do while it's quiet. So I'll get the video rig out in a minute. But this is absolutely glorious. Right, we've flipped over to the portrait stuff now. So this is going to be the stuff that is pretty much solely for social media. Now, I have a little mess about with the CPL and just see if that's sitting how I want it to sit. It's obviously sometimes quite difficult to gauge it when it's in the shade, at least in my experience anyway. I think that's where we want it. Sorry, I know you can't see much of the screen right now, you kind of just see my mug, but I'll get these couple of shots and then we'll move back inside. So again, yes, it's underexposed a little bit, but like I said, we know we can pull this back in post. Let's just get showing off the Falcon tires and stuff like that. Now, when you're shooting at events like this, you've got to consider the sponsors involved. So obviously, Refuel sponsored by Falcon, so you've got to make sure you consider these sponsors when you're shooting the cars and shooting the events and the venues. Obviously, these businesses, they want to be able to show that they're fulfilling their sponsorships and doing what they're meant to be doing. So it's always good to make sure that you get shots that include the sponsorship, because that is a good little commercial mindset to have that will really help you when it comes to working with businesses that have sponsors. I'm going to very cheekily, sorry if it's not, I'm going to very cheekily, no, it's not open, and rightfully so, it shouldn't be, but you know, we're going to check just so we can get some interior shots, but if they're not, that's okay. Let's get one overlooking the paddock. Let's get, oh, I blocked there we go. So some cool shots there. May have to get one of them to open it. Now I know I'm kind of just essentially repeating the previous shot, just in portrait rather than landscape, but I'd rather do that than forget or miss anything. Now, another thing to consider when you're shooting for kind of businesses for their social media and for general kind of graphic media is when you're framing up your shot. So this would be a good example. You want to make sure that there is some negative space. So I know Refuel are going to be putting, like Max from Refuel is going to be putting text over the top of this somewhere. So I know he's going to put like, you know, BMW Day here or there. So I try to make sure that I leave enough negative space for him to have space to be able to put text over. That's something else to consider when you're shooting specifically for social media. You know, you've got to shoot with intention and think about what they're going to use these shots for. So that's another good thing to think about. Right, let's see if we can cut the reflection out on this. I'm not too, oh, we can. Okay, actually maybe not. We'll see what we could do with post with that one, but I'm not hopeful. Right, so that's the photo, well, just a few of the photos we're going to get of the E30 sorted. So I want to take advantage of it while we're here early and it's somewhat quiet, and we've got the gimbal, so we're going to get the walk around video and some other videos of it that we can put together for him for social media. Yeah, I'm just going to do that while it's quiet, and as much as I like, you know, you want to see it when it's busy and stuff, I think it's important that we get some clear sort of uninterrupted shots of it as well. So I'll prop the camera down in a sec and I'll show you how I plan on setting this up. So hello. Right, so this, I'm sure everyone has seen this plenty of times, but everyone still has questions. This is a DJI Ronin M. So I'm just gonna grab the camera and I'm gonna get that set up. This is a DJI, not DJI, this is a small rig magic arm, which is good for like POVs and other bits and bobs. So I'm just gonna try and spin this around so I can show you what it is. And now I've got a cage on this camera, which means I can keep the little mounting plate, DJI mounting plate. So I can keep that on the camera basically permanently. And that's the joys of that. And it doesn't damage the camera when you put it on nice and tight and things. So we're gonna get this on the gimbal and get it all set up. Now, luckily for me, I had already set up the gimbal before I got to this shoot. I used it a couple of days prior, so I didn't need to make any adjustments. I just needed to slot the camera in place. Now, every gimbal is slightly different, so if you're looking to set up your gimbal, have a look online, look on tutorials, look on the manual for your gimbal, even on the website. They're all slightly different, but yeah, right, let's get back to shooting. So if I show you how this looks now, let me switch this around. How do I switch this around? Okay, we're back. So this is how we've got it set up. Switch it to wide. So this is how kind of the DJI Ronin M looks, if that makes sense. So you could use kind of the old feet and grips to make like a stand, and then obviously the ring grip kind of provides this sort of thing as well. So let's just get the monitor on and see how everything looks. Now, because we're kind of hopping in and out of shade, we may need to put the ND on and put like an ND filter on and then put the ISO on auto again, which is the likely thing we're going to have to do, and just let it compensate for itself. But it might be okay, actually. We'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. I've got the ND filter in my bag there, so we'll give it a go. So I'm going to put the magic arm back on here on the rig, get my clamp out the bag, and I will mandatory monster essentials, and I will switch over to that cam angle for you now, and we will zoom up the fun. Right, so people are slowly starting to show up, so we're gonna get cracking and do this as quick as we can. Well, not, you know, as reasonably as we can. So what I tend to do is try to do it all in. That's very zoomed in. Have I left? I think I've left something on. Let me just switch that off. Boop. Yes, I left my handheld stabilization on. That was why that was so zoomed in. Okay, we're back. We're back on full true 28mm now. I feel like I'm in one of those videos where they're like big stuff. It's like Art Attack, isn't it? Right, let's get cracking again. So what I like to do generally is just hit record and not really cut it too much. I just tend to get some shots, work my way around, lock focus, come on, there we are, and just work my way around. So just literally just jump on that like that, make it all look lovely and nice. This is incredibly well restored as well. Let's see if I can get my reflection out of it. It's missing focus there. The only thing is, like with these monitors, is I need to get a touchscreen one so I can change the focus. Obviously we will be able to slow all this footage down afterwards and change things around. Now people are starting to show up, like I said just now, so there may end up being some cars kind of showing up in the background, but it is a BMW day, so hopefully there'll be some more cool BMWs. I've just walked into a pole. Anyway, mistakes happen. Right, let's get some more details. Those headlights. So what I'm gonna do for this one, I'm just gonna walk out and I'm just gonna get a whole front shot. Hopefully walking backwards, don't get run over. Get a nice little bit of sun flickering through there. There we go. Now I know the top is gonna be a little bit overexposed, but if I remember rightly, with C-Log 3, you are meant to overexpose slightly. Tell me in the comments if I am wrong. I probably am, but we will make it work. We will make it work. Okay. I am still like slightly wary about tipping this gimbal down too much with the camera on it. Even though I've had this gimbal for such a long time, it's nothing bad has ever happened, but I know the one occasion where I'm actually filming is when it's going to go wrong. Let's use them as foreground and get my money's worth out of walking into it. There we go. Right, so we are shooting at 1/100, 50 FPS in 4K. That will then allow us to slow the footage down. So if we set the sequence to 24 FPS, we can slow that down afterwards by about 50% to the equivalent of like a 1/50. So that'll be quite nice. Right, I'm trying to look down on this a minute. I don't want the Ford in the background, but unfortunately. Now the joys of these benches, I can get nice and high and get some nice shots there. It's a little bit cramped in here around this BM, but it's okay. We will make it work. This is a lovely little spot inside the stretch tent as well. I just headbutted the stretch tent. Okay, so let's go around there. Okay, let me just pop this down, rest this down, sort my hat out because I've just walked into the stretch tent. There's a very nice, I want to say like 90s era 5 Series over there. I don't know if you can see it. I'll pull it up in a minute. Right, let's get some slightly further away shots without headbutting the stretch tent again. Trying to show like it's roofline. May have to ask them to perhaps move some bits in a minute, but let's get a few more kind of front shots and show off. Oh yeah, that's really blown out there, but in the tent is fine, and that's what we're focusing on. Okay, there we go. That's looking not too bad at all. Now we're probably going to walk into a wire, or wire's going to get in the foreground like it did there. That's not too bad. It doesn't look too bad. Just wary of the Ford next to me. There we go. There's lots of lovely little details on this, so I'm going to try and make sure we get them. So that was like a nice quick easy thing. So that's how I do that, and then you get like 4 minutes, a 4-minute clip basically, that you can then switch out and change into lots of little ones. Okay, this is the weird part of like being on camera now, is when everyone shows up and it looks like you're talking to yourself. Okay, so if I'm just gonna double check what we've got, so that's like a 4-minute clip. It's an old clip. So yeah, we've got that's a nice little walk around video that we've got there. So I just press play on that, we'll have a look through it. So that's just a quick little walk around video. That battery's running out, but I've got a spare, so it's okay. So yeah, basically what the plan is like I'm gonna look at this and I'm basically just gonna start, it'll all get chopped up, but I will also send this whole clip to Refuel for them to use for their own things later down the line as well, so they can chop it up and change it as they wish. But yeah, basically my plan. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do with that. So I'm gonna flip the camera around. I'm gonna talk to you quickly about what my next little point of call is. So what I tend to do when it comes to shooting events like this, and a lot of people know this who've seen me at Refuel before, know I like to show up early to kind of get what I call like the insurance shots, if that makes sense. So like stuff that's like, you know, just basically tick box stuff, like obviously still stuff I enjoy doing, and like still stuff that has like some passion into it, but just get like the tick boxes. So while it's quiet, get the shots of the car while it's clear, while there's nothing in the way of it, get the photos of it while there's nothing in the way of it. And then like, you know, when it comes to like the cafe and the Apex stuff that they've asked for, yes, I'd like to get pictures of it while it's quiet, but I'd also, you know, I think when there's people in it, it makes more sense. But I've spoken to Max at Refuel, and obviously he wanted shots of this. This was priority. The E30 was priority. So we're going to tick that out now. So it's about 9:05. People are going to start, people have already started showing up. So what I'm going to do, I think, is the next step now, I'm going to run inside, start getting shots of Apex and the cafe while there's some people in there, give everyone a chance to show up, and then we're going to move on to the next sort of ask, which was the shots of the whole place. So while there's more people come in and stuff. But yeah, that's the next bit. So we'll jump onto that, but I hope I'm not boring you all just yet. Oh, there is some cool stuff showing up here. Look at that bad boy. Look at that. That's nice. Oh, apparently my zoom's broken. That's a lovely 740i there with a nice little exhaust on it. Right, so we're just gonna take the video rig inside, get the shots of the cafe and Apex while the video rig is set up, and then basically take everything off the video list, because that's obviously what takes time to set up, and then yeah, crack up with the photos of the rest of the event. First, don't leave things behind, people. Retrieve things. Just broke up one of these, and this is my new one, and I nearly left it behind. Right, I will catch up with you in the cafe. Okay, so now we are in the Apex Racing Simulator room. So we're gonna get some bits in here. I'm trying to find the light a minute. So we're gonna get some shots in here now quickly with the video rig, and then do the cafe with the video rig, and then basically we'll just abandon the video rig completely, just go back to handheld and then do some other bits. We may need to do handheld shots in here because it is quite tight. You know, it's not a particularly humongous room. It's a very cool room though. So we'll have a look and we'll see what we can do. So I'll put you back on the rig and we'll go from there. Right, that looks a bit manky at the minute, but basically what we've done is we've cracked open the fire escape door just to let a bit of extra light in, just so we're not leaning on auto ISO too much. Now, one thing when you're working with screens is check your polarizer. I just very nearly made that mistake myself, so shouldn't be messing with it while it's on the gimbal, but sometimes, there we go. That's a lot. Leave that on the side with coffee. Right, here we go. So yeah, what I've done, because it was quite dark in here and I didn't want to put the lights on, because obviously it kind of ruins the vibe a little bit. I've just cracked open this back door just to let some light in so we're not sending the ISO up too high. Now we have got a little bit of flickering from the screens, but we can fix that in post. Let's get some bits of that. Let's go get some of the other screen. I love these sims, they're really cool. Let's walk back. I know there's a chain behind me on the door, so I need to be careful not to go through it with my fat ass. There we go. There we go. That's the shot we want. Cool. And then obviously there is some more over here, but what we'll focus on perhaps is just the ones with the screens on. So let's get some of the logo. Like we said, when you're shooting for businesses and on a somewhat commercial level, you always want to be getting shots of any brands, any sponsors, anything like that. So that keeps everyone happy. So a couple of shots of the headphones, get the Falcon logo down on the seat again. That look, right, I need to be careful where my feet are now so I don't kick the camera. I say that as I knee my gimbal. Okay, there's that. Let's get a close up on the pedals, little pan out, or dollies, no dollies don't pan out. And then let's get this close up on the steering wheel. I think what we may do, potentially, is get someone to sit in this. Okay, and then one more, I'll do a walk in to show people where it is. So if we go here, let's get that Apex logo in. Kind of like start showing your way into the room, show people where it is, and we can get like a nice whole room shot almost. So if we go on this angle now, shows that there's more than one sim in there. And then we'll kind of pan off behind the door. And the door, there we go. And then come back in. There we go. Get a few other different angles just to show there's a bit more. Let's get some a different light down here. Maybe even show this, like where it says truly immersive sim racing in the Devon. Get that on there. There we go. Oh, my calendar's up on the screen there. Let's get my calendar in. Yeah, boy, out of date. But don't worry, Max. I'll sort it out for you, mate. Don't stress. I'll get that sorted now. Let's get the back of the seat there. Now, there we go. We just walked into one. And then they've got that. Come on. Oh, what have I done? I have tangled my gimbal up in my lead. Come on. Play ball. No. Come on. Now, the one thing I find with the Ronin M is sometimes it does this. Kind of loses its way a little bit. And sometimes needs a little reset. But that's a small price to pay for this little gimbal. This little gem of a gimbal. Sorry, you are looking at someone's bin at the minute. Right, back to it. This is what I was talking about. The old fridge with the monsters in. That's what you want. So you come for the sim. Now go can a monster. Get on it. Cool, right. So I think that's that sorted. Let's move on to filming the cafe now, which is over there. Okay, so we've jumped into the cafe to film some stuff in there. This is Steamer. They are an award-winning restaurant cafe, I believe. So we switched to handheld just because we didn't want to get in the way of any of the staff carrying hot coffees, hot food, you know. Last thing I want is a caramel latte all over me and all over my camera equipment and all over the staff as well. So that's another thing to consider when you're filming in spaces like this, is be considerate of the staff and of the customers. You know, you don't want to be carrying around a massive gimbal and being in their way, trying to make the whole experience nice and seamless for them. So we're just going around, just getting a couple of shots of any little features we see, any kind of interactions, just anything that gives the feel of the place
and kind of shows off any of his features. So I've just tucked myself in there by the table just to get some shots down the seating area towards the coffee, just to show some interactions and some customers ordering stuff and bits like that. And then we switch around to the other viewpoint, so just flip around to the other facing the other way, just to get some shots from the other angle as well. And then, yeah, we're just going to walk around the kind of the queuing area, because as you walk into Refuel, as you'll see now when I walk outside, you will see that it's like, so there we go. Come on, Ben. There we go. Right. So as you start going in, obviously you have the coffee shop in front of you and you queue to the left. And as you go to the left, it's like almost like a little shop as you go around the queue. So just showing off that there. And like I said earlier in the video, we're looking at trying to show off if there's any brands that we can get in. So Roastworks is the coffee of choice for the steamer. So we want to make sure we're showing that off so people know when they come in, they're getting a familiar coffee, or they can see that it's Roastworks and go, yeah, cool, let's get some Roastworks. And Refuel I believe this is their new merchandise line, but I might have shown it off when I shouldn't have, sorry. So we're just getting some shots of that as well up on the wall. They're all for sale. And then we got some more instant coffee here. I believe these are flavored coffees, they're local to Clumpton, I think. I could be wrong. And just get some shots of the coffee being made. Yes, we checked with the staff to make sure they were happy being on camera. Always do that. They knew we were coming anyway, but it's always worth asking. Just make sure that someone is happy to be on camera. Obviously their face isn't in it, but their hands are and things. But yeah, we double checked with them just to make sure they were happy. And just a few more shots around the cafe area, so like around the coffee machines, the mugs, the cakes. There we go, lovely, I believe a carrot cake there as well. So this is just clips for when they put everything together, they can show what the customers can expect. And this is a really cool painting that's up on the wall as well, actually. It's definitely worth a look at if you're ever in Refuel. And they also do Hawkston as well, and Hawkston Zero. I think the only one I haven't seen there is the Hawkston Stout, which if they're watching, I hope they get. Okay, so that is the videography side of things covered for now. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the gimbal back in the car. And sorry, I'm probably not in shot at the minute, but right, we're going to put the gimbal back in the car and we are going to move on to some other bits that we have been assigned to do. So a lot more cars have shown up now, so I will show you in a minute what that looks like. So we're going to go get the shots of everything else. So we've done the cafe, we've done the Apex Race Centre, we've done the video of the E30, we've done a few other bits, so now it's mainly just going to be photo duty for the next hour. So we're here till 11, it's 10 o'clock now, got here at 8:30, so we've done about an hour and a half already. We've done a load of video, like we ticked off the video list straight away, so got the hardest bit out of the way, the equipment heavy intensive bit out of the way. So now we're going to move on to the sort of lighter, easier, less stressful bits now. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so as you can see now, a few more cars have shown up. This is by far definitely not the busiest Refuel has ever been, but there's a lot of cool cars here. So you can see E90 M3 there, M4, another M3, yeah, another M3. Yeah, there's lots of other cool stuff here. There's a very interesting Alpine over there that I want to go have a look at, and I can see a nice M2 there as well. But yeah, there's a lot of kind of cool stuff. A lot of the G80s have gone down there over by the E30 as well. So yeah, we're going to go have a look. We're going to photograph some cars and have a chat with some of the owners and tick off everything off the list. Let's go. That's not a BMW, but that is still quite cool. This will be a good little baseline for me to get all my settings dialed in, and a little Escort. I think it's an Escort, could be wrong. So we're just going to use that as a little benchmark. Another M2. So yeah, like I said, now we're just going to be on photography duty, getting shots of all the cool stuff. Get some of the Marshalls as well. I really like that color. So we're just whipping around quickly, getting the settings dialed in and stuff. Let's get some shots of that on its own. It's lovely. It's a really nice color, that. Really nice. So yeah, at the minute we're shooting, what are we shooting? 1/800 f2.8. The ISO's on auto again, but that's literally just going to sit on L, ISO 50 or ISO 100. We'll get that set in just because we can. Right, so now we're gonna get some shots of everything while we're here. So yeah, lovely M3 there. That's the V8 one, I believe. And
And then nice Z4. That's nice. Look at that. Look at that Alpine. That's really nice. I don't know a lot about Alpines, but I know they're cool. It's very, very cool. And obviously you see the Top Gear videos on them and stuff, but that's a very nice Alpine. I don't know the names of them. I don't actually understand the naming structure of them, but I know a lot of people fake them, but this looks pretty genuine to me. You know, if not, it's a very, very convincing replica, that's for sure. Right, let's get some shots through the tires. Kind of a signature Refuel shot for me. And then M235i next to the Alpine. It's nice and low. It's quite tricky to see everything while I'm trying to film, but I know we've got some good shots in here. Okay, let's keep moving around. Keep getting around everything. There's a lovely M3 Touring over there, G80 M3 Touring. Let's get the two M2s together. Let's have a look at those. Let's get nice and low. Lovely. Right, let's keep going around. It's nice. Let's double check. Yeah, the polarizer's alright. Let's have a look. I do like these Z4s. Ooh. Right, so what we're going to try and get now is we're going to try and get the E30 polarizer sitting right. There we go. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and get the E30 kind of in the middle of the two front ends here. So we've got M2 and an M4. I'm going to try and see if we can get the E30 sitting through the middle of it. And then we're going to get some of this G80. It's a lovely colour, that. Let's get some of the G80. Yeah. I think that bike there, I think we've already photographed once, because that is the Isle of Man green that I believe we photographed with an Isle of Man green M3. Let me have a look. We'll go up and chat with him quickly now. So yeah, I just had a quick chat with the owner. That actually is the one we photographed. So he's done a couple of quick little mods to it. So he's added like a lot of carbon, I say little mods, he's added a lot of carbon fiber to it, kind of just spruced it up a little bit to make it look a bit more aggressive and a bit more fancy. So we're going to try and get a shot of that next to this 330, I think 330, 335. There is a Honda next to it there, but I'll get a shot, but we won't get that in the same shot. But that is a cool car. Let's get that. Let's keep going. Let's keep having a look around and see what's what. That's the BMW Heritage logo, I believe, so we'll get some shots of that. Let's keep going. Let's try and get some more of this E30 here. So what we can do, get some from the back, showing the new cars. Oh, it's a nice i8 there. Let's get the i8. Get some more of that in a minute. Great. Now, I think these i8s have aged really well. Really, really well. Let's get a nice top-down shot. Let's get some shots of the cars. Like I said again, like basically I know the Refuel are planning on going to be putting like text up on there. So I'm going to make sure there's empty space there for that. Let's get some rear shots. Oh, I like this. This is cool. 335i estate. Fat exhaust on the back. Ooh, that's cool. Another M2. Ooh, M6. Look at that. That's a bit of a weapon. I love those M6s. One thing I will say is that age of BM, that kind of, when the E90 and stuff came out, I don't know what the generation is called specifically, but I think they've aged really, really well. Especially the 3 Series. Or the M6s, I think there was like an M8 as well, wasn't there? I could be wrong, I could be talking rubbish, but I think they've aged lovely. There's also a nice little Porsche there as well, that's really nice. Let's get that. But yeah, like I said, I think that age of BM has really aged well. I think they're probably one of the finer aging, especially the one actually on that as well. A lot of BMs do age really well. There's been a lot of hate for the new M3 recently, and I think give it a few years and everyone will change their minds. All right, let's go get some shots of these M2s together with the Falcon Wall in the background. And let's get some more of this Alpine as well. Right, so we've got about half an hour, 25 minutes left. I've just whipped into the car quickly, just to have a quick look through what we've got already and just make sure that we are hitting every kind of KPI in corporate talk. KPI. Kind of hit every sort of performance thing. It is very hot in here, so we'll open the door. Oh, yeah, so we're just gonna have a look through everything we got on the viewfinder, not viewfinder, on the old screen. And we're just gonna make sure that we've got everything we need to get against kind of what they've asked for. So this is something I tend to do on all shoots. I just like have a quick look through everything that they've asked for versus everything that I've got. But yeah, there's a lot of photos. I've had a lot of good chats with people. Obviously, we just seen the S1000RR that we took photos of as well. Owner was very, very delighted. It was very nice to actually have a chat with him as well. Annoyingly, the camera has switched memory cards halfway through, so I need to just have to double check that as well. There's plenty of stuff here. Nice Audi RS3 flying past there. Bright purple one as well. Yeah, a few people are leaving now. It's definitely quieter than I think they anticipated, but it's still a good turnout. And a lot of very nice people as well. Everyone's very lovely. So I think, yeah, we've got plenty of the cars. I think I may be lacking on the Cafe and Apex front. We've got a lot of videos, but not a lot of photos. So maybe we'll go and get a few more. We won't reset up the video rig, we will just go handheld like I did in the cafe anyway. Just a bit of a tight space, I don't want to get in the way with the big gimbal, so handheld with all the stabilization on is probably the best option there. Obviously I would love to just whip up the gimbal for everything, but obviously, you know, you got to think practicality. If I'm going to get in their way of actually doing their job, then I'm not doing my job. So yeah, we're going to use handheld, and we're going to get some shots, maybe a few more shots of the cafe and a few more bits, and I think then that'll probably be it. You know, I think that'll be it. That'll be a good little 2.5 hour session for Refuel. You know, we've definitely ticked all the boxes. I think the only one that we maybe haven't really like done is the walk around of the E30, but I think that's going to be quite, I think the only thing that we haven't like done properly, like proper done, is the walk around of the E30. Now there is a lot of benches around it, so not even sure if a walk around is even we're able to do it, but I'll have a chat with them and I'll make sure that they're okay with that. Obviously there's a lot of people sitting around it now, but probably should have done that earlier. But again, walking around it when we were filming, I couldn't really see a clear kind of path all the way around. But yeah, we're just gonna see what we can do. Let's have a look at what we can do. We've definitely got like a panning shot of the front of the car and definitely one of the rear, but I think that's kind of all we can do in that stretch tent. But yeah, we're just gonna do one more quick whip around then, just to top up the collection. And yeah, go from there. Maybe get some more in the cafe and stuff, and then yeah, I'll catch up with you when I head off. So I think that pretty much wraps up what we're doing today. So we've done the E30, we've done walks around the E30 this morning, we've done some like cinematic footage of that as well, and then we've also been around the cafe and we've been around Apex, and we've got a lot of photos as well. And yeah, I think that's pretty much ticked everything off the list, and yeah, seen some pretty cool cars as well. Nice to see the bike again that we photographed with the M3 Touring last time as well. But yeah, I think that kind of sums up everything. Let me know what you think of these kind of videos in the comments. Obviously I'm no YouTuber, but I want to kind of start doing these things a little bit more and kind of showing the processes and the cars that we get to see and stuff like that. But yeah, if you could like and subscribe and give me any feedback on these videos, what you'd like to see, and I'll try and make some more for you. And yeah, right, see you at the next one.